As long as you like good things, like SUV, drive me to my mansion, then believe me, life is so beautiful. Waking up to everyday man, I dey hustle, small time, my dreams to start to dey sweet me, like my private jet, fly me to my mansion, but again, this struggle got me, and society been stealing the passion, dying on substances, maybe I go fit get back my focus, millions of fighters, now who know they among done for, but as long as you and I see day, believe me, we go trend like fashion, we go bright as the moonshine, and we go the trend like fashion, trend like fashion. Hello trending listeners, this is OJB and you are welcome to today's podcast, Trend Like Fashion. I know majority of us might have just been wondering, is it that OJB is demoralized and disorganized by the effect of this pandemic that we haven't had him on the show for some times now? But well, I want you all to know that OJB is never demoralized and disorganized by the effect of this pandemic, just the way you are not demoralized and disorganized. You see, this pandemic is just a challenges we are all facing right now as human beings, and it shouldn't bring any form of weaknesses in us, rather than just to make us stronger. No, it shouldn't demoralize us, it shouldn't disorganize us, rather than to make us realize our true existence as human beings. This pandemic should make us realize the true existence of nature. It should make us realize and wonder how the planet we are living in, how the world we are living in, how the society we are living in is being operated. No, it is time for us to realize all these things. So it is never the time for us to be demoralized, and it is never the time for us to be disorganized as well. It is never the time for us to become weaker, but it is time for us to become stronger and wake up to our true existence as human beings. So, trendy listeners, in today's episode of Trend Like Fashion, we shall reason together about entrepreneurs and the monsters. But before we dive into today's episode, let us remind ourselves of the last episode on the show where we reason together about how our mind has been tweaked for the sake of entrepreneurship. So in today's episode, we are just going to reason together about entrepreneurs and the monsters. So trending listeners, let's get to reason together and have deep thoughts. You know, like we have been taught that entrepreneurs are creators and thinkers. And at the same time, let's reason together that we have two forms of these entrepreneurs: private entrepreneurs and public entrepreneurs. You know, private entrepreneurs deals with the affairs of a private enterprise or otherwise known as private organization, while the public entrepreneurs deals with the public affairs or simply government affairs. No, people that forms the government. But oftentimes it never crosses our mind that even the government themselves, any forms of government as it may be, are into business with humanity. And both forms of entrepreneurs just work together. You know, they work hand in hand. Now let's get to reason together what these entrepreneurs has created and still creating. And also, what are they thinking? Reason with me that entrepreneurs has created nothing than just promises. You know, jobs, infrastructures, justice, good healthcare system, among other promises made to humanity. And for real, these entrepreneurs didn't owe us any of these things, because whatever we believe we are enjoying as innovations, material things from these entrepreneurs, they are all made from the free gift of nature, and with the free gift of nature, you know, free gift of nature to the entire human races. But it's just unfortunate that the free gift of nature has been personalized and privatized by these entrepreneurs. because they always want to get ahead of time and also get ahead of humanity. And because the entrepreneurs can't fulfill their promises in an equal manner to the entire human races, which is just impossible for them to do, because they actually did not owe us anything. They owe us nothing. You see, anything they might have just promised us belong to the entire human races, because they are all free gift of nature. So they owe us absolutely nothing. They owe us no promises. And because they can't fulfill these promises, then the promises became numbers of problems that they have created among humanity. So entrepreneurs has created nothing more further than problems and problems and problems in our society. And these problems gave birth to the monsters and still giving birth to more monsters as well. Monsters are human beings that are being captured with a system that was set up by the entrepreneurs in order to be able to persuade or force people, generally people of all countries across the planet Earth. We are either being persuaded or forced to obey some sets of rules and instructions by these entrepreneurs. And the beast these monsters could turn to is the only thing that the entrepreneurs are thinking and worried about all their life. Because they know we are just human beings like them. We are one extraordinary made machine like them. They know it. They know we are not made to evolve around some set of rules and instructions, of course, just the way they know themselves too. What really makes us human beings is nothing more than just because our mind and body will evolve over time. So the set of instructions and rules given to us as human beings by the entrepreneurs will be broken over time. And you see, because of our nature as human beings, our mind and body evolving over time becomes a threat to the entrepreneurs. So it is something they have to worry about all the time. And the thing here is that I don't really know why they should be so worried about us furiously. Because we are just the same human machine they have. So why worried about us? Well, they are just worried because they know nature will come into play and the reality will start to set in. Reality will start to set in when every human races will find their true existence as just one human being with different mind but with the same purpose. You see, one day every human being will all rise to realize that they are not created to be bound under any set of rules and instructions. They will all rise up to their true existence, that they are not meant to take teachings. So the entrepreneurs are so worried about all these things, all the things that could turn the monsters that they have created a beast. They are so worried about them. They are so worried that the beast will one day hunt them down. So because entrepreneurs can never fulfill their promises in an equal manner to humanity, so the monsters who are persuaded and forced to obey some rules and ideology are breaking them, because they just want to live just the way nature wanted them to live. But then the entrepreneurs will call it a crime. But the fact still remains that the biggest crime ever committed against humanity is entrepreneurship. Oh, JB. Trending listeners, thank you for listening to today's episode on the podcast Trend Like Fashion. And at this challenging time of the pandemic, let us all remember to keep safe. Let us all remember to stay stronger. Do not be demoralized and do not be disorganized. Oh, JB, thank you for listening once again.
When we would break all the rules and skip them classes in school because the